Well, hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Crypto Corner, my video podcast where I discuss everything related to cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. It is Monday, the beginning of a new week. We have a lot of news to cover, and of course we're going to look at the markets and see what is currently going on. So stay tuned, let's get started. Okay, so we are ready to begin, and of course before I start I want to say a quick thank you to the sponsors of this video. Cobo Vault, a company that you're already quite familiar with. It is a brand new community-driven lending platform that aims to decentralize the borrowing and lending industry with the use of blockchain technology. The Cobo Vault platform allows borrowers to get access to hassle-free capital approved, voted and supported by a community treasury in order to get any size loan without the oversight of a bank. They're still having a pre-sale of their CBOT token via BX exchange through their initial exchange offering that started at the end of November. And to take part in this sale and get your hands on the token at pre-sale prices, head over to coboland.com. You will find the link in the description of this video. The token is already supported by all ERC20 wallets, and with MetaMask you can even do an instant swap for any other ERC20 token of your choice. Alternatively, you can use Bancor or Uniswap exchanges or Moniswap or BX as well in order to sell or exchange your tokens for another. You can also stake the token. Staking went live a week ago. You can also check out their Telegram channel with more than 25,000 active users, and the Cobo Vault platform altogether has already more than 3,000 active users. So make sure that you check them out. Always check out the links in the description box, as I always tell you. And now it's time to take a look at the markets and see what is currently going on in crypto. Alright, well, as we see today, we are still going through a minor correction, but we have recovered very well from before the weekend. Last time I did my video, which was at the end of last week on Thursday, in fact, I skipped the Friday, as you probably noticed. We actually take a dive down and we went all the way down to the upper 17,000 level, I think to 17,600 even, so mid 17,000 range. We managed to recover pretty much all of that, and today we are above 19k yet again. Same goes for Ethereum and for Ripple and for Litecoin and Chainlink and Cardano and all of the top coins. Today we are slightly worse than we were yesterday, because yesterday we actually pumped quite well. We went to 19,200 for Bitcoin. We went to 500 and almost 85, I think, for Ethereum. We are close to that as well. So not too bad. The recovery is not bad at all. The Ripple is not doing that well because Ripple went through a hard fork. Actually, a different company, Flare, did a hard fork on Ripple, and they introduced a new token, Spark token, which is going to be airdropped to most of the XRP holders, at least the ones that, you know, put their coins in the right exchanges or wallets. And this was right now why we're seeing still a lot of selling going on with Ripple. Many people who had Ripple for that fork, you know, started selling their Ripple. That created a bit of a, you know, kind of a FUD situation where people are worried that it will drop even further, and that is very likely to happen. I am still expecting that Ripple will go to test its support levels at around 45, 46 cents, maybe even lower 40 range. So we'll see how it goes. In terms of Bitcoin, Bitcoin is actually doing quite well. It found a strong support in the mid 17,000 range and it bounced from there. So currently we are still trading within the parameters of this triangle here. At some point we will be breaking out. Whether this will be happening right now, I'm not so sure, but if we manage to break out of this triangle, then we can be really looking to a new all-time high, something that many people now expect to happen before the end of this year. With the correction that happened over the weekend, it didn't really seem likely. It seemed like we will be going towards the lower support and we might be consolidating before next year we start making another strong up move. But there's still a lot of positive sentiment about Bitcoin. The fear and greed index, by the way, is interestingly really high, and it has been that high now for a few days. This is typically going hand in hand with a correction, but we saw last week it was at 91%, it went to 94%, and then we corrected. The correction was really small, so we're at 95 again, so perhaps we will be correcting again. And as we can see from the chart, we are starting to correct. We will probably go lower, maybe in the middle of this triangle here, but if the buyers keep having a strong hand, then we will push up again. And it's really a matter of whether we can break this trend line here, the resistance trend line. If we manage to break it, 20k and 21,000 even is completely feasible. I personally expect that it could happen before the end of the year, but we really only have this week, because after this week, from next week, we are getting into the holiday mood. And even though around Christmas we have had Bitcoin making big moves around Christmas, a lot of the institutional investors and hedge fund managers and corporate investors are actually going to be off. And I don't really know whether we'll be making any strong moves when they're off. We will be open to manipulation, of course, because as we have lower trading volume, it is easier to manipulate the market. So it could be that we see some sudden jumps in Bitcoin and stuff like that, but it could just be market manipulation rather than organic movement of the market. Bitcoin's dominance is also growing, so we are seeing that we are still going up. From last week, we've gained another 1.5%. That means that money is now more people are confident in Bitcoin. Money is going more in Bitcoin than it is going in the altcoins, but the altcoin total market cap is also growing, so this is also a positive sign. This is why we're seeing that a lot of the altcoins are also doing well. And we are still in an uptrend. We are recording higher lows and a higher high we have here from the previous. So now it's a matter of where this will take us, whether we will print another higher high and we will continue this, or are we just going to consolidate for a period of time? This is yet to be seen. So this was my quick overview of the markets. Now let's take a look at the headlines today and see what is happening around the world. Okay, well, these are the headlines today. We have JP Morgan estimating that institutions could put up to $600 billion worth into Bitcoin. The US Treasury got hacked over the weekend, and that sparked a lot of talk about the security of Bitcoin. In fact, the Chinese state media is claiming that Bitcoin's bull market could actually put pressure on gold, yet another title like that. And new institutional player, Mass Mutual Insurance Fund, purchases $100 million worth of Bitcoin. Cardano adds hardware wallet support to Daedalus wallet. Engine partners with Atari for blockchain gaming. ELF mainnet goes live. Litecoin's strong support is being held very firmly over the weekend. The XRP Flare fork snapshot was completed on Saturday, and Ethereum cannot be easily challenged by its competition, is claiming a Coinbase report. Also, Singapore's DBS Bank officially launches new digital asset exchange. BBVA, which is the second largest bank in Spain, is going to offer crypto trading and custody, and so will British bank Standard Chartered, also launching crypto custody services. And lastly, the European Union is also talking about adopting blockchain, yet another title that I find to be quite a curious one. I'm going to go into more details about this. Now, let's take a look into some of these headlines in more detail. So, according to a report from Reuters, a sophisticated hacking group backed by a foreign government, reportedly Russia, according to people familiar with the investigation, was able to breach the US Treasury Department, as well as the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, with the Department of Commerce. Well, Reuters stated that the hackers had been monitoring the staff emails run on Microsoft Office 365 for months. Other government agencies may also have been breached, and in response to that, many Twitter users rushed into posting tweets about how Bitcoin's blockchain has never been hacked and the security of Bitcoin. So while we are at the topic of security, actually, I want to remind you about Opolo wallet. This is the latest hardware device that I reviewed. I did that last week, and the review, you'll actually find it right now. It will pop up here as a suggestion. I suggest that you go and take a look. It is a really sleek and handy device. It fits in your pocket very easily, and it's got the latest security chip. It also has touchscreen, and it fits more than 200,000 different tokens, in fact, and more than 150 different coins. So pretty much any cryptocurrency that is worth holding longer term can be stored on this device, and it's only using one application for all of these different coins, which makes it much easier than some of the other hardware wallets on the market. I really like that about it. Also, I like the fact that it's using sharding backup, so you can back up via 3 different cards. If you remember, I showed you that in my tutorial, in my review, and I'm gonna show them to you here as well. These are the cards that you can use for backup, and it's literally, you just swipe the card on the back of the device and it transfers your mnemonic phrase and it spreads it onto the 3 cards, or you can also go for 5 cards. So this type of sharding of your mnemonic phrase, sharding backup, I haven't seen any other device provide this. Maybe in the future they will, but so far this is the only device on the market that is giving us this option. And you also have a chance of getting one of those for free if you take part in the Twitter giveaway that I announced last week. Go in the description below and find the tweet, the original tweet, where I outlined also the rules. You basically have to follow me and Opolo, and you have to comment under the tweet with a suggestion of a feature that you want to see on this device. So I suggest that you go and take a look at my review first, so that you are familiar with all of the features of the device, and then go and suggest any feature that you want to see on the device. One winner will be selected on the 20th of December, and they will be getting a free device. If you don't get a free device, then you still have a chance to purchase it at less than half price. With my link in the description box, you will be getting 51% discount only throughout its pre-sale. It's currently in pre-launch, so make sure that you get it while it's still on this offer. It's a really good offer, guys. So this is about security. Now let's move on with the news, and the next one is about JP Morgan is estimating that we could actually see up to $600 billion put into Bitcoin by institutions. This is coming by after a report about Massachusetts Mutual Life Insurance Company, or Mass Mutual as we call it, which has $235 billion in its investment account. They just made a lot of headlines by investing $100 million from their portfolio into Bitcoin. And now an analyst by JP Morgan is predicting that more institutions can actually follow this example. Now, how do they get to that 600 billion figure? Well, for this to happen, insurance companies and pension funds in the US, Europe, and Japan have to put just 1% of their assets into the world's largest cryptocurrency, and this is how it could happen. This is a report. Of course, this is just a speculation, and we can only assume that this could happen, but analysts, that's what they do. They speculate on things based on market research and analysis. So of course it could actually be a part of the media manipulation of the information and the narrative to make more people jump into Bitcoin at this point. But for me, this is all good news. Of course, I am a supporter of positive crypto news, especially when we talk about more institutional investments and mass adoption. Now, the Chinese state media, this is the next title, is claiming that we can actually see Bitcoin outperforming gold in terms of sentiment. Not only it is already outperforming it in terms of figures, in terms of growth. Bitcoin has outperformed gold over the past decade, in fact, pretty much every year and by far. But when it comes to investments, gold is still the safe haven for many people, and especially for the older generation. Now it's predicted that more and more even institutions and retail investors will follow institutions, because they set examples. We're going to see even more pressure put on gold as a reserve, as a store of value. So Bitcoin is really getting to the point of beating gold, guys. And I think one of my first videos, in fact, about Bitcoin back in 2015 or 16 was about the fact that Bitcoin is better than gold in today's day and age. For our generation, Bitcoin is really the new gold. And this is what I've been saying for all of these years. So no surprise there in this statement. Now, Forbes is also talking about a possible $20,000 Bitcoin before this Christmas. And as you know, I don't really follow mainstream media and what they talk about. In fact, a lot of the times mainstream media could be taken as a counter indicator, meaning that if they're talking about Bitcoin reaching 20,000, that is most likely that it will not be able to, because mainstream media are involved in a lot of hype, and they add to the FOMO and of course to the FUD as well. But nevertheless, more positive news in the media is still positive altogether. So for me, I don't really mind when they do that. The only thing is that you need to be aware of this, and you need to not really follow what mainstream media is talking. When mainstream media is talking about Bitcoin, this is typically too late, and we've been accumulating Bitcoin throughout the whole drop back in March, and throughout the halving and everything, when it was still in the 7, 8, 9,000 range. And I've been talking about the bullish scenario for Bitcoin for this year. So hopefully you managed to fill in your bags before it actually went to the 19,000, which is currently. And yes, you can buy it right now, and you will still make a profit, because next year we will see Bitcoin at 30, 40, maybe even 50,000. But generally, you have to use the market dips. By the way, I do hope that you managed to scoop some Bitcoin during the sale on Saturday. I think it was when it was down 17,800 and 17,600 it went and everything. So hopefully you were buying the dips. As you know, as I told you in my previous videos, because we're in a bull market, the dips right now are your ideal time for buying. They are not a time to sell, and don't try to sell it when it's going down so that you can buy it even cheaper, because you don't really know how far down it will go. Sometimes it doesn't actually go as far as you want it to. Anyway, let's go to the last news, and this is about the European Union hopefully starting to use blockchain. The pre-commercial procurement is essentially a way for a buyer, in this case the European Union, to define a project in terms of requirements, and to have multiple suppliers that will have to bid for the best one to actually make it through and provide this service. Now, the project identifies 20 distinct use cases, and it is aiming to deliver and categorize them in the following 5 categories: financing and procurement, law and compliance, identity and credentials, distributed registry, and energy and environment. One of the highest requirements is for an ability to support small and medium-sized enterprises, both financially and non-financially, through urgent times. The support for small and medium businesses takes a substantial amount of effort, both time-wise and resource-wise. So as per the documentation provided, the EU would ideally like to have a solution which allows them to support any kind of small or medium business with a single press of a button, both financially and non-financially, as in vouchers or other ways. And so the delivery of this project is supposed to offer easier and less administrative reporting on companies. And also another use of this proposal for adoption of blockchain is to do with the health service, with the health sector. So apparently they want to find a blockchain solution that will allow doctors to be able to write a digital prescription, with which the patient could be able to redeem anywhere within the European Union, within all the different countries that are members of the European Union at any local pharmacy. So these are just a couple of different examples how the European Union is looking for solutions to implement blockchain technology, which is great news for blockchain adoption. Of course, it is great news also for cryptocurrencies, because as we know, blockchain does not exist without cryptocurrencies. A true decentralized blockchain needs a cryptocurrency in order to support the developers and the miners of that blockchain to be truly decentralized. Now, if we're talking about a privately owned blockchain that is closed circle and it is a centralized type of a blockchain, that is also possible. But in that regard, it is just like any other ledger, data storage. It doesn't actually have the capabilities of blockchain. And when we're talking about blockchain with this proposal here, we're talking about a decentralized blockchain, which is really interesting to me. And I want to see how is this going to develop, because this could be a really big milestone for worldwide adoption, not just European Union. So these were the news for today, guys. I hope you like them. I'm trying again not to make this too long and keeping it short and sweet. I gave you a very condensed here type of delivery of all the headlines and news. I focused only on some of them, because if I have to go through all of the news, then we can be here all day. And hopefully you found value in this, it helped you. So make sure that you leave me a like and a comment below, and also make sure that you're subscribed to this channel and hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting a new video. I will be answering questions from the comments below on Wednesday, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in this or any of my previous videos. I go through comments and I pick comments that will be useful for you to find out the answers to. So this is what I will be doing on Wednesday. Make sure that you catch that as well. Well, this is where I'm going to leave you. I'm signing off. Thanks for staying until the end, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.